Hi, I'm Sherry, homeschooling mom of 2 girls. Today I wanted to share a fun math activity to help work on place value. So this would be for like kindergarten, first grade. So I'm using it with my 6-year-old. So we're actually doing first grade math even though she's in kindergarten. So we did this, we used Math Mammoth as our curriculum, but we used this to sort of introduce the concept because it was a good hands-on activity called Scoop and Group. The printables, I'll put a link below, but you can print them for free off my website. So this is basically just to help them start getting the idea of grouping things and understanding that that's also a faster way, of counting items. So you can use any sort of tiny items. We used little Cheerios, which my daughter loved because she could eat them in between activities. But you could also use buttons, little beads. We use these little bingo counters a lot. I keep a big bag of these around because they're great for using as little counters or little game pieces or to use for an actual game of bingo, which is why we originally had them. Or if you have base 10 blocks already, you can use the little single cubes, which we did use in a later iteration. But to start off, so you take a big scoop of whatever item you're using. So for us, it was Cheerios. Count out 10 into each circle until you no longer have enough to make 10. And then you put your remainders over here. And now we get to count them up. So your kids don't have to know how to count by tens already to do this activity, but it can be helpful. So then you take your little recording sheet, you put how many groups of tens you have, how many ones, and then you put the numbers in the corresponding place. And then we did kind of count by tens then to, 10, 20, 33. And start introducing this concept that this 3 here in the tens place is worth 30 because you have 3 groups of 10. So once they seem to understand this, the first little variation you could do is if you want to practice your skip counting by 2s, you can count to 10 by 2. I feel like that's always the easiest one for kids to learn because a lot of them, if they do any sort of sports or activities, they've already heard that 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate, cheer? So they already know the beginning of skip counting by 2s. So that's the second variation. So they can work on this and be practicing their skip counting. I wouldn't introduce them both the first time you're doing it, so you can concentrate on just one thing at a time. And then once they have it down, we went ahead and started exchanging our groups for the base 10 blocks. To help kind of understand that concept even more, that we're taking these groups of 10, and turning them into one solid group. So we would count it out, and this time we did use our little 1 blocks from our base 10, and when we got to 10, we would just switch it out, and we would lay that across the circle, and then really see, okay, at the end we had 4 of these, so we had 4 groups of 10, and then however many of our little yellows. This worked really well. We played it, for a couple days and then went into the things in our Math Mammoth book, and she seems to understand it pretty well. But it was a great intro, and if you're looking for something either for homeschool or you could also easily do this in a classroom, kids could work in pairs to do it, or you could use it in a math center for a fun way to introduce that place value concept for kindergarten or first grade. Happy learning!